welcome to CDC UK. My name is Diane, and today we'll be looking at taking refuge in the Lord. One thing we have been doing in the ministry for the past week or so is reading one chapter of the book of Psalms each day. We found that it's something that is beneficial and encouraging, and we can find many words of wisdom in it, and something that we can hold on to during the day. Each chapter of Psalms, some of them are just maybe 4 or 5 verses long, some may be longer, but we find that it's something that has been helping us through each day. So I encourage you, if it's something that you would like to do, to join in with that also. So today we'll be looking at the book of Psalms chapter 11. Beginning in verse 1, it says, "In the Lord I take refuge. How can you say to my soul, flee like a bird to your mountain? For behold, the wicked bend the bow. They have fitted their arrow to the string, to shoot in the dark at the upright in heart. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do?" David here is talking to people around him who are telling him to flee because Saul is seeking him. Saul is after David because he's afraid that David is going to take over his position as king. So with that in mind, those around David are telling him to flee, to run away and hide so that he can be kept safe from Saul. But David is telling them, if I take refuge in God, why am I going to run? Why am I going to hide? Why am I going to be fearful? And this is something that is important for us now with this virus that is going around. There are many people who are living in fear. They may be afraid to go out. They may be afraid to communicate and be around other people. But we should know that as believers, though we should still abide by the regulations that have been set within our local communities, but that doesn't mean that we should do so in fear. If we need to go out, we should go out knowing that God's protection is around us. We should still be able to talk to people and be around people in a safe way, but knowing that God is still our protector, that his hand is surrounding us, and that he is bigger than any virus, and that he is the one in control no matter what is going on. So here David said to them, why are you telling me to flee? Why are you telling me to run away? Why are you pointing out all these things that people are doing as they're trying to come after me? Why are you pointing out all these plans that are being made against me? I take refuge in the Lord. So in the same way, let's not focus so much on the numbers of people who have died from the virus, the number of people who have contracted it, the way that the virus is spreading, but instead let's focus on our God, who we know is greater than this virus. Let's focus on our God, who we know is the one in control. Let's focus on him having faith that we will come out of it in the end, that he will make a way, that a way will come for us to come at the other end of this. Let's focus on God in all that we do. Then in verse 4, we see he says, "The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes see, his eyelids test the children of man." So we see that no matter what's going on, God is still on the throne. He is still the one in charge. He is still the one who is in control of everything that is taking place. So we have to always put our trust in him. We should always seek refuge in him. Whenever we feel that sense of fear or weariness over a situation, instead of giving in to that thing, let's give ourselves over to God and let's seek him in every situation that we find ourselves in. Then in verse 5 it says, "The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence." So every situation that we come into, we should see this as a test. Not a test in the sense that something terrible will happen if we fail, but just a way for us to say, this is happening, God, and I'm going to put my faith in you and know that you are going to see me through. Let's give that focus on God. Let's put that trust in God no matter what comes our way, whether it's to do with this virus or to do with financial situations or whatever it is that may come. Let us always put our trust in God and turn our ears away from those voices that are telling us to be in fear, from those voices that are telling us to run and flee and hide away. And we see as we go on in verse 7, it says, "For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold his face." So all we have to do is just remain faithful, remain righteous. And being righteous doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean abiding by legalistic rules and regulation. It just means constantly trusting in him and being faithful and keeping him in mind in all that we do, doing everything so that it brings him glory. Let's not have our minds focused on what's happening in the world. Let's not have our mind focused on what might be happening in our finances or in our families or with our jobs, but let's always have our minds focused on God. This doesn't mean that we ignore what we might be experiencing, but it just means instead of sitting around and focusing on these things so much and allowing ourselves to get deeper and deeper into worry and anxiety over these things, instead we hand these over to God and we say, "God, I trust you with this situation. God, I trust you with this matter. God, I trust you to see me through this thing." It's all about showing God that we trust in him. It's all about letting him know that he is our refuge and knowing ourselves that he is our refuge. And when we know that we have someone who was great and mighty, a king who sits on the throne permanently, eternally, who is in control, when we know that, there's a peace that will just come over us, so that regardless of what's happening around us, we won't be dismayed, we won't be weary, and we won't be discouraged. So no matter what's happening in your life, I pray that you can find refuge in God. I pray that you can find refuge in the Lord. Whatever you are experiencing, give that thing over to him. Hand it over to him. Let him be the one to deal with it. Go along in your life knowing that you have peace, knowing that he is in control, and knowing that he has already made a way. And I pray that has been an encouragement for you. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel and press on the notification bell so that you will be indicated of any new uploads. We also have a blog site where we post regular messages, so please do check that out as well. And like and share this video so that others may be touched and encouraged also. I pray that you'll be blessed and highly favored and go through life knowing that God's hand is upon you and that his glory shines upon you always. Remain blessed.